Sure. Well, hey Charlie, welcome to New Orleans. I
Thank
guess
you.
we'll start off just kind of the basics here. How realistic did you think this was when you started kind of down this path toward American football, and what was the process like that kind of led you to joining the Saints?
Yeah, I suppose it's I'll just start off with saying it's a real honor to be a part of the New Orleans Saints. A fantastic organization, and I'm really just looking forward to getting started now in OTAs on April 15th. But just go back to the start of my journey. I suppose whenever I started American football, I didn't really know where I was going to go. I've been playing my sport Gaelic football all my life, and I started watching the NFL as a teenager. And obviously, the Saints have had some great teams over the years, and I'm well aware of some of the great players they've had. And I suppose whenever I went to my first session, the pathway for the kickers and punters wasn't even open, and I'd seen obviously a couple of Irish lads go through the college route, but obviously I no eligibility to go through the college route, and that wasn't even my aim, to be honest. My aim was just to go and try out kicking in American football because it was only really it's only really come to Ireland in this past year or so, where kicking coaches started up and traveling around the country, and his name tag leader, and I suppose he's been the real reason, I suppose, why I'm in this position. And yeah, so just got the opportunity, went down and tried it out. The NFL opened up its pathway 3 weeks later then for kickers and punters, and I got invited to a trial in Loughborough in England, and I went to it. I made it through, and after that trial, I suppose that's really when it hit me as like, right, this is a realistic opportunity for me because I I I went to Loughborough, but we still didn't know if we had our spot yet. We went and we made it through to the final five spots, and obviously then the APP did more scouting throughout the world. I know they went to Australia, South Africa, looked at tape from boys from Brazil and Mexico and India as well, and just countries all around the world. And I suppose after the combine in Loughborough, that's really when it hit me. It's like, right, this is a realistic thing for me to do because I feel like I've got a leg that's capable of playing in the NFL. And I suppose I've really knuckled down hard over this past few months to try and make that realistic. And with a bit of self belief and with the right people around me and with the right opportunity, I feel like I've given it my all, and I feel like I've got the ability to kick in this league and to kick for the Saints. And I suppose it's been an unbelievable journey just to get to this point. But now I know I'm in the league. The Saints have signed me. Um, Unbelievable. But now it's time to get to work. This is when the real work starts, and I want to play for the Saints because obviously there's no because. It's just like it's just what I feel like I'm capable of doing, and I feel like I can contribute to this city and to this team massively. If given the opportunity to do that, and I suppose that's what I've been given to do now, and bring it on, I suppose.
Charlie, when you sent that initial email like 5 years ago, did you hear back from anyone from the NFL?
No, I didn't. I looked out the other day as well, actually, and it wasn't. I only saw this the other day. So NFL UK have started, tagging me in some posts, and I've been following them. So just looked through our chats with them as well, and I actually sent them a DM as well as the email on the same day on Instagram, and nobody got back to me. That's not surprisingly so, I suppose. But yeah, yeah, I suppose like I've always watched the Red Zone, and I've always watched the NFL through my years growing up, and just watching the kickers kick, like, and I was thinking, what, I can do this. And I suppose it was past couple of months I've proven that I can. It's just about getting that starting spot, and that's what I want. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, and bring it on. But yeah, going back to that point, like it's crazy where like you send an email and you're in Ireland, and there's no real pathway to go to the NFL unless you go through the college route. um where like there was no, like, how do you even get into the college route if you're in Ireland, like, do you know what I mean? And now it's here in Ireland. But yeah, look, I know I'm never had any ambition of playing college football. I was always the NFL, and luckily I've got the opportunity to do that now. But it's a crazy process to go from sending that email to being in this situation I'm in right now. And yeah, I'm just buzzing with it, to be honest.
So when you didn't hear back, did you get discouraged, or did you figure there would just be another way to get to it?
um it wasn't that I was discouraged. I was still very committed to my sport, Gaelic football at home. like Gaelic football in Ireland is the most popular sport by a country mile, and I suppose a lot of people mightn't know that sport. It's really obviously people think of Ireland as soccer and rugby, but Gaelic football is what every town and village in the country plays. Every village, not just like county, every village has a Gaelic football pitch. And it's just the real. You grow up, the culture is you play Gaelic football, and it's nearly strange to not play Gaelic football. And I suppose in my part of the country, it's absolutely massive. And obviously, being a fan of the NFL, you never really think that it's actually possible to make that happen. And I suppose with the Gaelic football and with the American football, I was always so committed to, I had goals in Gaelic football as well. I wanted to achieve goals, but when the NFL came up, like it was just like, whoa, like this is way bigger. This is meant for me. I love watching the sport. I feel like I'm definitely good enough to kick in it based off the training I've done. And back in 2019, I probably didn't bat too much of an eye on the fact that nobody got back to me because there was no real opportunity to make it happen, I suppose. So yeah.
Hey Charlie, when was that tryout you were talking about? Could you just kind of provide some more detail about that?
Yeah, so the tryout was October 11th of last year. So I'd started doing a wee bit of training with Tag Leader in Ireland beforehand. Maybe got 3 sessions done, and he saw that I had a raw leg and a raw talent, and I went to that tryout in Loughborough, and we got on a plane from Dublin to Birmingham in England, and had the tryout, and we flew home that day. But yeah, it was just there was maybe about 20 kickers there at that tryout, and there was a final 5 selected to go to the latter stages of the tryout, and I was one of them, and there was 3 other Irish lads as well, and I suppose it's nice to have. It just shows that Irish lads can kick a ball. Like there was mainly English lads there was Indian lads there, trying to think of Scottish as well maybe, and yeah, I suppose it's a distant memory now, but it was unbelievable to make it through that process, and yeah, just from that point on, I've really knuckled down and sacrificed a lot to get to the stage. But to me, like I'll never ever see it as a job. Like in my sport, Gaelic football, we don't get paid. We work a job 9 to 4. So I actually finished my college degree last year, and I started doing some teaching in the build up. I suppose I was training at home and I was doing a wee bit of teaching, and that's what I'd essentially be doing now if I wasn't. So in my free time, that's what I loved doing, was kicking Gaelic footballs over the bar, just like essentially the same technique as the field goal. And so I'll never ever see it as a job. Like it's just unbelievable, that fact that I'm getting to do my hobby now full time, and I'm just absolutely thrilled to do it in New Orleans, and yeah, I just can't wait to get going.
What were you
Well,
teaching?
even though it's a hobby, Charlie, did you feel any pressure when you went through the tryouts?
I suppose yeah. I didn't really know what I was walking into at that tryout, but the fact that I was being flown out of Ireland to go to England for this tryout, I was like, this is pretty serious, and I knew the NFL was behind it, and I knew that at this stage that if we got to the IPP program, we'd be going to the NFL Combine, and like for me, I know what the Combine is because I've watched it on TV this past 7 or 8 years, and so I probably was a bit nervous, to be honest, like because I kind of knew what was at stake. I knew that it was the chance to, have a really, really good preparation to essentially try out for NFL teams, and getting the kick in front of the 32 teams was an unbelievable opportunity for someone who's never played, a down of football before. But at the same time, I know that I can do it. We've seen in this past year, Brandon Aubrey, first team All Pro, Pro Bowler, and he didn't play a whole lot of football before. Before this year, really, I suppose I know he played in the UFL, but really his transition is just goes to show that if you have a leg and you have the correct mindset, which I feel I have, then it's possible to kick in this league, and that's what I feel like I have. So yeah, that's what I'd say on that one.
What were you teaching for your 9 to 4?
Yeah, so I'm in elementary school. We call it primary school in Ireland. And my subject is Irish language. So I'll be the first Gaelic as we say, or Irish speaker to play in the NFL, and the first person to transition from Gaelic football to the NFL too. And I see that as a real honour, and I see that as like I feel like I can inspire our Irish lads and other lads around the world to give it a go and to try it out, and hopefully we'll have more international kickers in the league, in the coming years. So yeah, the Irish language was my subject, but just mainstream teaching. So you'll be teaching your numeracy, your literacy, and world awareness, and just things like that there. So hopefully I'll not have to step foot in the classroom again and just kick footballs for a living, and that's what I love to do.
And we've
Charlie,
seen the clips of you. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
When is the first time you ever even tried kicking an American football through an upright, even just messing around? Were you ever exposed to that before these last few years?
I actually have. So I signed up to a leader kicking event in Dublin, and I have a thing on my wallet on my iPhone, and I'm never going to delete it because it was the first day to try it out, and that was August 22nd of last year. So how long ago was that? Maybe 7 months. 7 months of training for it, and it just goes to show that if you have the swing and you have the talent and you have the mindset that you can really make this possible in a short period of time. And I just can't wait to get to work now with Coach Rizzi and Coach Phil, and learn from them. And it's just going to be it's just going to help me development even more. And who knows what can happen in the coming months. But yeah, I just can't wait to get to work. And yeah, August 22nd of last year in Dublin. So yeah. I saw the
That was the first.
other day, and I saw the videos of me kicking the ball the other day, and my swing is just so much different now to what it was back then. But yeah, I suppose in my first 4 field goals I ever tried, I scored them all. So I think I got off to a good start, and that gave me a bit of hope, I suppose, going into the future.
That date you were just saying was the first time you ever kicked an American football?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. And who was it that you said you credited for giving you this opportunity? And what was the tryout and the pathway something you sought out and showed up, or did somebody like come to your team and say, "Hey, we'd like you"?
Well, I suppose so. It's my coach back home, who's actually been the NFL IPP coach. His name's Tag Leader. He's from Galway in Ireland, and Galway's on the west coast, and I live in the east coast, up north in Ireland. And we would drive. He would drive maybe 2 hours, and I would drive 2 hours. And we'd meet in the middle, and we've been training really this past 4 or 5 months. But he was the one that started out the opportunity. So he had contact with James Cook, who's the head of the NFL IPP program, and he says, "Look, there's lads. Lads can make this transition." Tag had tried out kicking himself, and he was in the CFL for a bit, and he played in the spring league with the Aviators, and he had a tryout with Hamilton Tiger Cats in the CFL. But he just couldn't make that breakthrough because there was no real pathway to do it. And he says, "You know what, I'm going to do this back home because I know there's Irish lads that can kick." And obviously me being a huge football fan, and I saw that he'd started doing a bit of coaching around the country and through Twitter and Instagram, and I gave him a follow, and I just saw his videos, and I was still playing football. I was still very Gaelic football. I was still very much focused on it, and I saw it, and I was like, what, maybe I should give this a go. And I gave it a go this year, and I suppose as I said, the IPP hadn't opened up pathways for kickers and punters at this stage. But 3 weeks later, Tag had told us that the IPP has made this available, and he was scouting about the Ireland for the best kickers of a ball, and I suppose then he asked me to come to this session, and there was a couple of Irish lads who were competing just to get to go to Loughborough in the first place, where the combine was, and he was picking maybe 4. He picked 4 of us to go to that combine, and there's other lads who had tried before that who maybe just weren't as capable of or he just didn't see who had the potential to do it. And I suppose I was one of them who got the chance to go to Loughborough, and Tiger connections with James, and then he's been our kicking coach in the IPP as well. So it's really been with Tiger and James have really been the main reason why I'm in this position I'm in, because they both saw the vision, and they both had the belief that that I could do it. And I'm proud to say I'm the first ever international kicker to come through the IPP program, and yeah, it's a real honor. And I suppose I don't think I'll be the last.
Charlie, I'm curious what the reaction was in Ireland, seeing one of your countrymen, Daniel Whelan, make the NFL, and Daniel actually got started here. I think he was here for like OTAs and minicamp. Have you gotten a chance to talk to him at all about New Orleans or just the league in general?
No, well, I suppose actually I'd followed Dan, on Instagram maybe this past year, and then after I got signed, I saw that he gave me a follow and he gave me a text, and he just says, best of luck, and it's great to have another Irish lad in the league, and let's keep this thing rolling and moving, and he was very very supportive of me. So it's great to see him thriving up in Green Bay. Obviously I would love to see other Irish lads in the league. And, I was training with other Irish lads, three other Irish lads. And, I feel like if they got the opportunity to compete for spots as well, they'll be capable of kicking in the league. And I just feel very lucky that I've got the opportunity to do it. And yeah, I suppose the reaction from home has been insane. Like, my phone has never blown up like it. I suppose you're just getting constant, requests, to do things. And, to be honest, it is a good thing because it shows that you're doing something right. And I've got a lot of messages from young kids asking, how did you get into this? I would love to do this. How do you go about it? And it's a real honor to say that you're a role model for those younger lads in my country. And honestly, it's a real honor to fly the flag of Ireland on the national stage or on the world stage, because in our sport, Gaelic football, because it's not played outside of Ireland, you can represent Ireland, and that's been a goal of mine. Ever since I started this, it's been one of my reasons for why I'm doing this. I want to represent Ireland on the world stage, and I want to be the best possible version of myself. And I've just got the absolute mindset and the passion to make this happen. And yeah, the reaction from home has just been unbelievable. And my family have been so supportive. They all drove an hour and a half just to, like, my cousins and my aunties and uncles, and they all drove an hour and a half just to go to the airport to welcome me yesterday, even though we all were going to my house after. And it was really, really nice, and I feel so grateful for that. And they're just absolutely buzzing for me. Like, I've never, like, even with some of my family members who, my uncles and my dad, like, just, there was tears. Like, and I was like, it was just crazy. It was a crazy reaction, and yeah, unbelievable.
Hey, Charlie, we've seen videos of you kicking from 63 yards. Is that your range? Can you do that pretty regularly? What's kind of like your yeah?
Well, in camp as well, I've kicked 66 and 67. That was with a crossbreed, I suppose, and that's a kick that whenever I hit it, I was like, yeah, it was nice. But in my sport, Gaelic football, I've hit that kick so many times because in Ireland it's quite windy, and with a lot of cross breezes. And to me, like, it's just I know how to sort of judge the wind, and because I've done it with my sport, Gaelic football, where it was just a cross breeze, so I was like, right, so just set it out and let the wind take it. And that's what I did, and I got a good contact in the ball. And I suppose it probably looked good, just the way the wind took it in, and how accurately it went over the bar. But yeah, that's what I feel like I've done. I kicked a 60-yarder on my pro day. I've done that quite regularly in camp, and I feel like that's what I'll continue to do in OTAs and in rookie mini camp and in training camp as well. That's what I feel like I'm capable of. And yeah, I feel like I've got a big leg and I've got a good height in my ball. So please God that continues, and and I'm sure it will.
Hey, Charlie, if I could ask a question kind of about your mindset. Obviously you're new to the sport and you talk about developing and growing, but you're obviously here to compete for a job. So how do you kind of reconcile those two things, understanding that you have a lot to learn, but that every kick matters when it comes to potentially making the team?
Yeah, I suppose that's a good question. I suppose I sat down with Coach Phil and Coach Rizzy and watched a bit of my film from Pro Day. And the main thing is, like, for me, I'm not going to be making absolutely major changes in my swing or my routine. It's just the tiniest of details that I feel like I need to make to help me adjust. To obviously, I want the starting job. Like, that's why I'm here. Felt like this is a great opportunity to do that. And I know obviously Blake Ruppy is an unbelievable kicker of a football as well, and I know it's going to be very difficult. But it's just the mindset I have that I don't want to be one of those boys who comes through the IPP just to sit in the practice squad for 3 years or practice squad for a while and earn a wee bit of money and go back home. That's not why I'm here. I want to be here because I want to do this because I want to play. I'll go back to what I said previously. Like, we play Gaelic football all our lives for no pay. We do it for the passion, and that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing it because this is what I love to do, and I want to be the best version of myself. And to me, it's not really about money. It's about being the best version of myself and representing my country on a world stage, and inspiring younger lads to follow suit. And if you have a passion and a work ethic to achieve something, then why not go and do it? But again, yeah, so it's not that I'll be making major changes. It's just some minor changes that I feel like the coaches who have shown unbelievable support from day one. Coach Rizzi came and watched us 3 weeks before the combine in USF in South Florida. And that just, for me, that showed like, wow, this Coach Rizzi really, really cares about, the IPP. He really thinks that, this could be valuable. And so that just shows like, it's the minor details for me that I'm going to change. And not even that I will be changing a whole lot. I don't plan on doing that. But yeah, I suppose if I have the mindset to actually go and compete for the starting job now, and as I said, because it's minor details, that'll not change anything when it comes to time to kick. And every kick matters. I know that, and yeah, I just can't wait to get to do that.
Charlie, I apologize for my ignorance here, but I know nothing about Gaelic football.
Yeah. No worries. Nobody does.
I guess how similar is this sport to American football or to any other sport we would recognize? Like how would those skills help translate?
So the easiest way to describe it, but it's not really, but the easiest way to describe it is it's like a combination of soccer and rugby. So the balls, like, we kick. So and obviously in football, you kick a field goal, that's worth 3 points. So if there's a free, so for my role, I'll just describe my role in Gaelic football, because obviously there's different positions. My role, I converted to a goalkeeper. So whenever I was 20 years old, because of my kicking ability, goalkeepers need to be able to kick the ball competently off the ground. So we have two jobs in terms of kicking. So there's a thing called kickouts. It's like when the ball goes out of play, you set the ball on your tee on the 20-yard line, and then you have to try and find your teammate, like in soccer, passing to your teammate. You can so we're obviously passing to the chest because you hold the ball in your hands and then you kick it from hand to foot like a punt if you're an outfielder. Obviously goalkeepers can do that too if the ball's in play. But from a kick out, you set the ball on the tee and you try and pass quarterback, try and pass the ball. And so yeah, so teams obviously they can set up in zone coverage or man coverage. So I'm used to dealing with that with the Gaelic football. And then obviously there's another aspect of it where if you're fouled, we call it like a foul, and it's close enough to the goals ground, or you can kick it out of your hands over the bar, which is worth 1 point, which is essentially like kicking a field goal. And obviously my role in Gaelic football, if there was a free kick close enough to goals within 55 meters, which is obviously depending on the conditions as well, I would come up and hit those frees for my team. And that's essentially what I love to do in Gaelic football. That was my passion, where I would come up and practice all the time my free kicks in Gaelic football in my spare time. And I suppose that's the reason why the transition has been I suppose I feel like it has been smooth. My transition where I can kick in American football with the way I can, and it's got me in this position, I suppose.
What were some of the minor tweaks that Coach Rizzi expressed that he would like to see you change?
Yeah, well, just one. I'll just talk about one that. So whenever I go to lean forward and with my jab step and my kick, he'd noticed on my pro day that my left toes curl up, and that means that I'm rocking back a wee bit. So it's just really, one of them was just about becoming more comfortable in your stance at the back of the ball, where you're leaning forward more and everything's going forward, so that you can take a tenth of the second off your operation time. So obviously I know in my pro day, my operation times were in around 1:04 or so, and we were encouraged to focus on making kicks rather than getting to the ball really quickly. But I know, like, if you can just everything goes forward, then you can take maybe a tenth or 2 tenths off your operation time. And that was just one example. To be honest, like, there's very, very few things that I feel like that in the future that I will change with my swing, or anything to do with my kick. But that was just one example, and I can't wait to hear more from Coach Rizzi in the coming weeks. And I suppose I was only there for I was only there for a day, and then I had to try it the next day, and obviously I signed after that, and then had to catch a flight after that. So I just can't wait to spend more time with Coach Rizzy and Coach Phil, and really learn from them more, and just the whole football setup. You know, having experienced practice before, the way I will in the upcoming training camp, and I just can't wait for those experiences to happen, and yeah, bring it on, I suppose.
Charlie, would Rory McIlroy and Darren Clark be two of the more famous athletes come out of your region, and any connection there or anything?
Yeah, I suppose Roy would be. Yeah, it was for me. Obviously, there's a number of athletes on the island of Ireland that you know are well known, and yeah, I suppose Roy would be. Roy's actually from the same county as me. I'm from County Down. But like I suppose you know, like probably the most famous athlete I think in Ireland is Conor McGregor. I think he's well known. There's a few Premier League footballers. You've caught me off guard with you know who's I suppose yeah, Cillian Murphy is from Ireland as well. Yeah, I'm trying to think of you know other famous people from Ireland, but yeah, to be honest, that doesn't really. I'm just here because I want to. I don't want to be known as one of those people who cares about that. I just care about you know kicking and you know trying to you know be a good role model for the younger kids and in my country and throughout the world that you know to go chase their dreams really, and you know that's what I've done.
Anything else for Charlie? All right. Thank you for taking the time, Charlie. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank
Congrats,
you.
bud.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.